Hello. So today we're going to do about a 30-minute Hatha yoga practice. We're going to start in a seated position. I have a blanket folded underneath my hips. That might be helpful for you. We'll be here just for a couple minutes. So you can gaze forward or close your eyes, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Allow your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. Feel your hips pressing down into the floor. And allow your breath to deepen. When your breath deepens, you might feel some sensation at the sides of your body. The ribs expanding on the inhale, consolidating on the exhale. This centering allows you to somewhat call upon this time as an important time. You're setting it aside for not just a yoga practice, but to allow yourself to explore what it means to be embodied, to let go of thoughts and ruminations, and to be more present for this physical experience of being alive. Take 3 more breaths here, noticing what that feels like, and any sensations that you might normally term negative. Just look at them as neutral experience. There will be waves of what you might say are negative and positive throughout your practice, but ultimately every experience is neutral. So if the eyes are closed, you'll open them and you can take the arms down at your sides and inhale and lift the arms above your head, pressing down through your sit bones. Exhale, bring the arms back down at your sides. And then continue on with that, maybe 2 or 3 more times, inhaling fully and exhaling fully. This is an experience that is not only helping your joints out, but it's also ventilating your lungs a bit more. With my hands down at my sides, now I'm going to take a gentle side bend to each side. Bending into the supporting arm. And now this arm that's going up overhead, it doesn't have to do that. So especially if you've had some recent shoulder injury, you might keep the hand down on your hip as you go side to side. The side-to-side motion is not just for the shoulders, but to feel into the side of your back and down into your hips. And then coming back to center and placing your hands on your thighs, tucking your pelvis, rounding your back, doing a little bit of a stretch for your back, and then bringing your chest forward, pulling the elbows back, and maybe looking towards the ceiling. Trying that twice more. Exhale as you round your spine, and inhale as you pull it forward and pull your elbows back. One more time. Good. So we'll come to a center position. I'm going to remove the blanket from underneath my hips and put it off to the side. And I'm going to sit back into my arms, taking my feet to the width of the mat. So this is the knee drop exercise. One knee at a time, dropping down towards the floor, will help open up around the hip joint and the lateral part of the thigh. You might also feel something into the back, and you're allowing the feet to roll from side to side. So a full experience from your feet, through your legs, through your hips, to your back, and all along, just making sure that you're working with the breath. That's a mindful experience. One more time to each side. Good. And I'm going to stretch my legs straight out in front of me, maybe walk my hands up a little bit higher, and start to point and flex through the feet. All right, so as you point and flex through the feet, you'll get more sensation in the feet, lower legs, and this can prepare us for coming to do a few standing postures. So you feel the nature of your feet, the nature of the shins and the calves, and try it just one more time. Great. All right, we'll come to stand. So we'll do a few warm-up preparations before we do any classical postures. So legs are right underneath the hips and swinging the arms forward and back, noticing what that feels like in your shoulders, in your chest and upper back, and then crisscrossing the arms, one over the other, alternately, again, working with shoulders, chest, and upper back. This is not a time where you might feel like you can control your breath. I'm going to relax my arms at my sides, and then start to do a repetitive chair position. So you sit the hips back gently, allowing the arms to come forward and then at your sides. Again, if that's a comfortable option for you. Just noticing how you're breathing while you're going through this, and also the pressure that you're applying through your feet and that radiating experience up through your legs. Try it just one more time. And then relax that, taking the hands behind your back, interlacing. A mild squeeze in the upper back as you exhale and forward fold. Bend the knees deeply, inhale and come up. So as you continue to do this, you can forward fold with legs straight or a little bent. When you come up, you might choose to squeeze through the shoulder blades and do this bit of an arc when you come up. I often refer to it as what soccer players will do when they try to catch a ball in their upper back. So come up with straight spine or a bent spine, or not bent, curved rather, all the while using the support of your legs to support what's happening in your torso. One more time. Great. And then release the arms. So now I'm going to take my hands to the center of my chest. Inhale, open the arms out, soft back bend, and then forward fold. Bend the knees, letting the hands either come down to the floor or to blocks. Then bend the knees as you lift back up. And exhale as you forward fold, trying that several times. Right. Again, making sure that the knees are bent in transition to minimize stress and strain in the legs as well as in the back. And you're literally connecting to everything, from hands to feet, head to tailbone. Let's try it just one more time. You reach the arms out and up. And then this time when you go down, stay for a little while. Again, be mindful of what the hamstrings feel like. You don't want to feel a severe strain or stress at the sit bone. You want to feel a sensation right in the bulk of the muscle. So I often call it the heart of the hamstring. Again, the hands can be on a prop, blocks, or a bolster, or even a chair or the ground. So my knees are soft at first to allow my spine to rest right to my head, letting my head be heavy. Once again, if that position for you is comfortable. Weight equal on my feet, especially towards the front of the foot. You don't want to be leaning into the heels too much. And as you let the head rest down, you might elongate your exhale. So as you elongate your exhale, you might feel like you're creating more space in your body, more space even in the lungs. And then having the head lower than the heart is very nourishing for the tissues in the head. So you're quieting your senses, but also there's better blood flow and lymph flow now through the head and neck region. So let's try it for 2 or 3 more breaths. And then bend the knees to come out, sweep the arms out and up, soft back bend. Good. Hands to the heart. And then hands to the hips as you step one leg forward, one leg back for a warrior one position. So having the legs so they're hip distance apart, widthwise, and then the length is meant to be just enough where you start to feel experience in your calf, your hip joint. Front knee stays bent over the ankle, and then the arms could remain at your sides if you'd like to do that. You could do a goalpost position or raise the arms up alongside your head. So the point of any choice that you make is that it's one that helps you fully connect from the bottom up and then from top down, and your breath remains smooth and deep. It's never limited. So maybe try to stay here for 2 or 3 more breaths. Relaxing your jaw. And then releasing the arms down. And I'm going to step this back leg in line with my front foot. So heel and arch line up with each other. Lift through the spine. Keep the leg muscles really strong as you shift your hips. And maybe open up to a modified triangle position. So looking forward maybe, or looking down. If you choose to look up, make sure you have this nice full rotation in the spine and there's no stress or strain in the neck. So one of the things that I like to think about in triangle is allowing my exhale to bring me to my spine, And the inhale, helping me bring my attention out to the peripheral areas of my body. So fingertips, toe tips, just feeling everything, feeling alive. Nice to feel more alive and connected. Try 2 more breaths here. Then bending that front knee and coming out, I'm going to scoot my back leg behind me just a little bit more and settle down into a warrior 2 position. And what I'd like to do in warrior 2 is press down through my feet and pull towards center slightly and engage the inner thighs and then the pelvic floor. And then find an engagement that's soft and relaxed as I extend my arms out, and you can look beyond that front arm as you feel beyond the back arm. Shoulders down away from the ears, and you're expanding through the chest and upper back. If it's desirable, take the palms up towards the ceiling, spreading the fingers out. Try 2 or 3 more breaths here. And then releasing the arms, turning the feet to neutral, and then taking a forward fold again, dropping the head, relaxing the hands either on the floor or on blocks, and take about 4 breaths here. Exhaling a little bit longer. Again, keeping the weight equal from your toes to your heels. Modifying it if you need to with bent knees. Then turn the toes out slightly, bend the knees deeply, come up into goddess position, take the arms out to the sides. Then bring the hands in, and then we'll stand in mountain pose for a moment. So you take the arms down at your sides, relax your shoulders, press down through the legs, lift through them, lift through the spine, and allow your breath to move from crown to feet 2 or 3 times. Great. I'm going to turn in this direction and take warrior 1 here. So my other leg is going to go back. Again, legs hip distance apart, similar to where you were in mountain position, so that the hips turn forward comfortably and that back foot is at a slight angle. And again, your choice with your arms. If you keep your arms down at your sides and squeeze a little bit through the upper back, this could be strengthening for those muscles. Keeping the front knee over the ankle, maybe you raise the arms up. But again, whenever you're working with the arms in this manner, you want to make sure that you're not choking up around the neck, throat area, but you have some space in the chest and upper back. And fingers are open, breath is smooth and deep. And you're looking to cycle your attention down through the body and up through the body, through the front, through the back. Releasing the arms, and I'm going to set this foot so that the arch is lined up with my heel and open up into triangle position. You want to have this engagement in your legs so that you're both pressing down and lifting up through the legs. And then the bottom hand is placed in such a way where you feel like there's a little bit of support coming from thigh or shin, and you're able to extend and expand comfortably across the chest and upper back. And then the head position again. It's not kinked off, up too high. You want to find just the right place so that as you breathe, you feel like the shining star. And then bending that front knee, scooting that rear leg back just a bit. So sitting in the legs and then lifting through them. So what I'm going to do is push through my feet a bit, pull the legs together, and then find a comfortable engagement of inner thigh and pelvis that supports me in lifting through my spine, and then also in radiating the arms outwards, again, if that's a comfortable position for you. Perhaps turning the palms up and feel into your fingers. So every single part of you is part of this posture, right? It's not just about legs and arms, but the core of your body, even right down to the toes and up through the jaw. Releasing the arms down and straightening that leg. And then we're going to go all the way to the floor. So bending at the knees. And what you might do is take a block or something to sit on. so that you could sit back into a hero-like position. Again, if that's comfortable. If it's not, put your legs out in front of you. So using this moment to pause. When we're doing standing poses, there's an increase in our heart rate, blood pressure, a lot of circulation moving around. So we're looking to sort of settle down into our floor practice now, our floor routine. Maybe interlacing the fingers and bringing the arms up above the head. And even when you bring your arms up above the head, you want to press down through your hips. And then release the arms down. So I'm going to use my blocks now for a lunging position. And I'm going to bring my one leg up so that it's at a 90-degree angle, and then my hands are right underneath my shoulders. Now, you may or may not need the blocks this high. You can have them lower or not at all. What I like the blocks for is because it helps me keep my spine long. And then when I pick the back knee up off of the ground, I want to feel a balanced action in my foot so my heel isn't drawing in towards center or out. So that requires feeling into where your toes are, patting the foot. And then you have this extension through the front knee, through the crown of the head, and then this extension back through the tailbone and the heel. Now you may want to stay here, or maybe bring the knee to the floor and raise the torso up. Once again, all of these are choices you make. You don't want to feel any gripping in the tailbone area, the pelvis, or even the jaw. Smooth, deep breath. The breath helps you somewhat monitor where you're truly at and how the body is responding to the practice. We'll stay for 2 more breaths. And I'm going to use my blocks for the next pose. We're going to do gait. And so I'm going to spiral my shin back and then extend this leg out. I'm going to put this block by my bent leg and first going into gait position. So when I do this, I still need to ground. So you're grounding and stabilizing through your legs, lifting through your pelvic floor. I press down through the leg behind me, which is my right leg, through that shin and the top of the foot, and that helps me balance in this position, because literally it is a balancing pose, gait pose, but it can feel really nice maybe to the inner thighs, hip, and back. Then I'm going to take it into somewhat of a reverse position. I'm going to use this block to stabilize my hand. I'm going to point through that foot, and then first take this hand to my hip, and it's going to support me in taking a back bend. And again, when I'm looking up, I want to make sure there's limited strain in my neck, so my chin is in slightly. And then if you want, reaching this arm alongside your head. And now you have this extension from foot to hand. And I'm scooping up under through the pelvis, and that contraction, not tension, but contraction and activation in my pelvis is supporting me in this gentle back bend. And then releasing out of there and pausing, either in this position, in the hero pose, with or without a block, or if you feel like you need to go into child's pose right now, you can take that. So just a little bit of symmetrical experience here. And then we'll take the lunge to the other side. So I'm going to bring my blocks over here. Step my other leg forward. Again, 90-degree angle. Pick the back knee up. And then you want to feel that pressure on the back foot. Make sure it's right in the center. So as you push back through your heel, you're working through the center length of your thigh. There's mild engagement in the abdomen and the back muscles, reaching the crown of the head forward, chin is drawn in slightly, and you're creating this, you might say, just open space for breath and life force to move freely, unimpinged. Dropping the knee down to the floor, flattening the foot, and I'm still mildly engaged through my legs and pelvis to support my torso and coming up and intensifying that experience now for the hip flexors, and one of those hip flexors comes right up through to your mid-back. So literally your leg muscle starts up here in your mid-back. So being cautious that you're comfortable, all right? And you're doing everything in a manner so that you can continue to do it. It's a safe practice. I'm going to return my hands to my block so then I can transition to gait. So I'm going to take one block to the outer thigh. Remember, you want to press down through the shin and the foot, lift through your pelvis, and even the quadriceps and hamstrings on this extended leg are active. And I'm going to bend out and over that leg. Not crunching through the waist, but keeping space there, and that helps me somewhat cycle my attention down. I often think of the old-fashioned recycling sign with the arrows going around in that triangle pattern. So I'm exhaling down and inhaling up, and that sort of just scanning the whole perimeter of my body and the center core of my body helps me understand what's active and what's not active. And then coming out of that, and my block is right underneath my shoulder. I'm pointing that foot. I'm going to take this hand to come around my back and hip, support me in the back bend. So I'm extending through my extended leg. I'm lifting through my pelvis, pelvic floor, and finding a rotation and a back bend that's comfortable. You may bring this arm alongside your head. Right. Remembering again that you have usually these two places that are working in coordination with each other. It could be crown of the head and toes, extending away from each other. Now it's my hand extending away from my foot. And then coming out of that and coming back again to either a neutral hero position or take child's pose. So then we'll do a seated forward fold and a twist. I'm going to use my blanket again to support my hips. I'm going to take one leg forward and take the other leg in, and my foot is off by my hip. I want to be able to press down through my foot as I press down through my hips. The front foot is flexed. Right, so just as if when I'm standing, I'm using my legs to support me, I'm using my legs still to support me in the seated practice. And I'm going to twist towards the bent leg. So bringing my hand around my knee, the other arm is going to go alongside my back. Now it's really easy to forget about the leg activation when you start the twist. So be mindful of that straight leg, mindful of the bent leg. You're pressing down through your hips, lifting through the spine. And here is where you might accentuate that exhale. So exhaling just a little bit more, lifting through the crown of the head. And this hand that's holding your knee or shin, you're not grabbing, right? You're just assisting that leg slightly towards the center core of your body. And then unwinding, I'm going to bring this foot out just a little bit more and place my hands alongside my thigh. Now you could put the blocks here again if you wanted. I'm going to take a very gentle forward fold here, and yet going forward just a little bit, you could feel quite an intense experience in your calf and hamstring. So I don't want to pull myself forward too much, but I'm pressing down into the floor and assisting this lift through my torso and then gentle fold. I like this posture a lot, even though it's a little difficult at times. It feels containing, and for some strange reason, just very rewarding, even though it's not big. Right. And then coming out of that, and we'll switch legs. So again, my foot is off by my hip joint. I'm able to anchor through my sit bones as well as through both legs. And then soft rotation, never pushing or pulling. You see my elbow is down, my shoulder blades are in, lifting through the crown of the head. You might rotate the head a little bit, right? So you decide on how much rotation is enough. And then maximize your exhale, not to stress or strain, but just to assist in the clearing out. You know, anytime you're doing a twist, you're wringing out your tissue. So muscle, the joints, ligaments, but also organs. So it's right here, we're working with our organs in the central part of our body. And I'm going to come out a bit and then put this foot off to the side just to give room for my torso to come forward. And I'm not losing that engagement in my legs. I'm still engaging through the muscles, lifting through my pelvic floor. And now this asks a little bit more of my abdomen and back muscles. So I'm going forward slightly, watching that I don't do weird things with my head. Let your breath be what it needs to be right now, full and deep in any manner that's just enriching. And when you're ready, you're coming out, and then we'll finish like we started. So folding the legs in, relaxing the hands either in your lap or on your thighs. Let the shoulders drop down, lift through the spine. You may gaze forward or close your eyes. As you work with your breathing, you once again notice the ribs expanding out and consolidating. But now this could be a very different experience than the one you had in the beginning. That possibility of feeling truly embodied by the moment, present, and maybe even grateful. You might choose to finish your practice with bringing the hands together in front of the heart. It's honoring this time that you've set aside for yourself. And we are truly grateful to be able to give this gift of practice to you today.